Join me now, Paul Teller. Paul,
Morning, sir. Good to
always
see
good
you.
to have you with us, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Teller Strategies, is that a new thing you got going on?
It's kind of a new thing. Decided after all these decades, do a little something out of my own.
All right. Well, good to have you. Happy to have you here.
Always great to be
Um,
here. Appreciate it.
let us give us a little insight here on what the hell is going on in Gaza now. I mean, we're supposed to have this peace thing and bunch of countries involved. Nothing's happened there. Trump goes to Davos and they got Jared Kushner outlining, beachfront condos or something. What the hell is going on?
And that's it. You and I have talked about this, right? For how many months now, right? The beachfront condos sound good, but it's got to be in the context of actual peace, right? It can't be with Hamas running the beachfront condos, right? It can't be with. We still have an Israeli body somewhere in Gaza that was supposed to be returned. They can't find it. Now they're saying, oh, maybe they thought he was accidentally, buried in a Gazan cemetery. So, they didn't realize he was an Israeli. Well, okay, great. Then we need a little more time to find him, I guess. Now they're talking about opening, the Rafah gate, right? That main gate connecting, Israel and Gaza. But again, this is all before there's actual peace there. Hamas is still in control of Gaza. There's no sense of who's going to actually operate Gaza after Hamas does give up control, which we don't really think is going to happen, right? You and I don't really think that's going to happen. So I don't know. I wish I had more answers, more questions than answers. But the one thing that does seem certain is that we as a world community and certainly we as the United States shouldn't just go forward and assume like we'll trust everything's going to be fine, right? The Turks and the Qataris will come in and everything will be just fine. There's just no evidence for that.
Yeah, the Qataris are going to come in and make it fine.
Everything's going to be great, right?
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Is this after they fund the Muslim Brotherhood or
Right.
before? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
They're going to make everything fine. Just they make it all fine all over the world, right? Okay, got it. Separate issue. Let's get to Tehran.
Yeah.
Now we find out 30,000, allegedly 30,000 Iranian citizens have been massacred by the Ayatollah regime. President Trump is sending an armada there, just like he did in Venezuela. Now they're going to the Middle East, outside of the coast of Iran. Normally, when Trump does this, something happens.
Yeah.
What do you see here, Paul Teller?
No, it's a good point. And, I agree with your previous guest, Senator Mastriano, great man, when he was saying, yeah, I would imagine if there's going to be, as they use the word kinetic attack from the United States, yeah, probably goes after communication centers and lines, weaponry, things like that. Obviously, I don't know. I'm not inside the Defense Department and stuff like that. But yeah, my gut would be they're not looking to necessarily just indiscriminately attack Iran or even various places in Tehran, but go very surgically targeted into the ability of the regime to punish its own people. To I would imagine maybe they try to bring some internet service back online, right? Because apparently even Starlink was jammed somehow. I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess they did jam Starlink from above, and maybe there's a way to get internet back in there so the protesters themselves could better coordinate. We'll see, but that's I think that's a safe bet.
How do you think that ends?
I mean, and you and I have been saying this too. I think it's got to be eventually, maybe not right now in this action, but eventually regime change, right? How do you have the same murderous, venomous killers in charge, and suddenly we're supposed to think like, oh, they'll be fine towards their people. They'll be fine towards Israelis. They'll be fine towards Americans and other allies. It's got to be a regime change, an installation of people who actually want peace, people who actually want security, and join the fellowship of normal nations, or at least relatively normal nations in the world for prosperity and security.
What is Israel's role in this?
It's a good question. I would imagine working hand in glove with the United States, right, in terms of intelligence for sure, right? Nobody's better than Israel in that region. In terms of actually conducting any sort of an attack, yeah, that could be joint as well. There could be actual joint partnership there. Not quite sure, but certainly intel on the back end if America goes it alone.
Paul, let me ask you something that I thought was odd. Just odd. So it was last week I was traveling. I think I was in Santa Barbara at the Republican National Committee winter meeting.
Nice.
I think I was reading this on the plane. And so I was reading about how in Venezuela, the vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, was providing information to the Trump administration on how to get rid of Maduro, providing them with intel and trying to save herself.
Right.
And as we now know, that during the raid, she was on a vacation in some island, so she wasn't even there. But apparently she was back channeling classified information back to the U.S. government onto his whereabouts, etc. And then she disappears and then takes the oath of office. In that expose, and I forget who was doing this. I think it might have been the Daily Telegraph or the Daily or something of that nature, one of the United Kingdom papers. They said that in these negotiations with the vice president was the foreign minister of Qatar, and that they were involved in back channeling info back to the United States, and they were part of the operation. And I'm reading that, thinking to myself, well, let me get this straight.
Yeah.
Get this tiny little nation that really doesn't have any say in anything except our base is there. And we know there's some checkered things going on there because they got the, Hamas leaders staying in 5-star hotels in Doha.
Right.
They've been a good ally, no doubt about it. They gave us the base. They gave Trump the plane. They've been a good ally. Why are they involved in Venezuelan vice president negotiations to take out Maduro? Like, I just found that odd. What about you?
Yeah, totally agree. It is odd, right? I mean, like, let's pull up our world maps, right? And look at where, Qatar is, where Venezuela, and nothing to do with each other. And so it's hard to explain why that is the case.
I mean, if it was France or Germany or, the United Kingdom, I would have said, okay, this is the European NATO ally here trying to get involved in something.
Yeah.
But this tiny, like, why is Qatar involved in Venezuelan U.S. sensitive negotiations? That raised all kinds of red flags for me, because obviously they're dialed in to what we're doing at a very senior classified level. I mean, the Qataris knew and were part of the takeout of Maduro and were part of the negotiation for their sitting vice president. Like, it's not like, how the hell are they involved in the Caribbean?
Yeah, it's hard to understand. And frankly, it's hard to understand even why some of our great conservative friends here in Washington, D.C. are taking money from Qatar, right? And are doing their bidding. And there's a lot related to that country that you and I don't understand. I don't know if we ever will understand, but you're right. There's something going on. This isn't the standard operation. You're right. These are not standard procedures.
It really didn't feel good to me. I mean, I've been to Doha many times. I understand their culture as well as any U.S. Westerner. I've gone to the Doha Forum on multiple occasions. I like to know what the other half is saying. I interview like world leaders. It's a pretty effective thing. And so, I've had their ambassador on my show numerous times. I just found it odd that they were involved at that level in something they have nothing to do with.
Right. Exactly. Right. It has nothing. It's not connected to Hamas, right? It's not connected to Israel, Iran, or maybe it is, right? Maybe there's some way that something that we don't understand. There's got to be something, right? Because we're missing a huge piece of the puzzle. It's not normal.
It just didn't it made no sense. Like, if that was Australia, okay, that would make sense to me. Even New Zealand, okay, fine there, but what? So there's something deeper here, Paul, that's going on. I understand that when Kushner rolled out his PowerPoint, that he was made fun of. Is that true?
Oh, actually, I hadn't heard that. That would be unfortunate. I hadn't heard that, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think before we're rolling out, development of condos, I think what's also bothering me is, like, I thought part of this deal was Hamas was supposed to disarm. They've not disarmed.
Yeah.
I thought they weren't supposed to be the governing entity. They are. So, other than getting the hostages back, what has changed?
Yeah, honestly, I mean, other than I guess there's not missiles flying right now. That's good, right? There's a positive there. There's the presumption of peace, which in and of itself is probably good, meaning like, just kind of the cultural moment is one of, hey, we are not escalating right now on either side. Okay, nice, great, fine. But yeah, in terms of asking the average Israeli, do you feel safe that nothing's going to happen from Hamas running, Gaza still? No, of course not. Of course they don't feel safe. And also there's things that, don't get reported in like the mass American media, but it's still going on. And you live in Israel, you know that a soldier is killed here and there. There's a terrorist attack still at a bus stop here and there. Again, it doesn't rise to the level of breaking Fox News, but it's there. And if you're in Israel, you know about it and you're still scared, and it's still outrageous that Gaza is allowed to be controlled by Hamas still.
Outrageous that they're still controlling it after all this.
All this time, all those
missiles. All this time, and the linchpin of the deal was they were going to disarm.
Right.
In order to get another coalition government in there, whatever you want to call it, Trump chairman of the board thing, well, they had to disarm. Well, they never disarmed.
Yeah.
They're the same arms they had. So it's like the peace deal was, even that's, I mean, okay, there's no more deaths. They're not finding missiles and stuff, and we got the hostages home. That's great.
Right. Good stats.
But they still got their machine guns.
Right. And by the way, they still have the hate in their heart. Right. In other words, they haven't said anything about, by the way, we were mistaken. Israel's cool. They have a right to exist. We're going to be friends. None of that. Right. None of that has been said. So.
All right, Paul, I got to go. People want to follow you, Paul. Tell her, where do they go?
Best is at pteller, on X. You could also find me on LinkedIn or, tellerstrategies.com.
All right. Tellerstrategies.com. Entering a new phase of your life. Do you live in DC or Virginia?
Yeah, so actually I'm on the Maryland side here in Chevy Chase, Maryland. We didn't get as much snow as they predicted, but, still got some drifts going around that are pretty big.
See, all my friends live in Maryland or Virginia. Nobody lives here except me. Every time I tell somebody, why don't you move here? Oh, no, I'm not doing that. Well, I live in the safest city in America. And one day we're going to get rid of the federal tax. And then you'll be jealous.
There you go.
Well, we're not paying federal tax like Puerto Rico. That's my mission in life.
I love it. I love it.
Thanks, Paul. We got to roll.
Yep. Talk soon.
All right.